should kill yourself.
Thank you, Shin Megami Tensei.
Finally, SMT5 2. So after 50 hours I am finally done with SMT5 and oh boy do I have things to say about it. Most, if not all things to say are very positive. There's a slight influx of negativity that I will mention when it comes to certain things, but overall SMT5V completely sweeps not only base 5 but most of Megaten. And in the case of combat is the pinnacle of turn-based combat. Like legit, if you look at the definition of a peak in the dictionary, you will see SMT5V next to it. This is going to be a video filled with glazing, more glazing than an Instagram meme page's comments, so it's time to dive into SMT5V. But before I dive into it, I want to share my old Megaten story. It started in 2020, naturally the pandemic, so around April, I finally caved in and played Persona 5 not knowing what I was getting into. I saw the cool art style, I heard the music and thought, alright, if nothing else it'll be an experience. And what an experience it was. P5 was the fourth major impact the game franchise had on me during my entire life. The first one being Heroes of Might and Magic, as HOM 3 was I think the first game I can remember I ever played and to this day play. Second one being Pokemon, obviously grew with it since Pokemon Crystal and up until Sword and Shield. As okay as Sword and Shield were, they were just the point where I realized, okay, this is getting old now. Also, Alola is in top 3 gens for me, so I am not an old good, new bad guy. I just didn't really like Galar. Third one, Danganronpa, which still to this day left an amazing impact on me, but since the fanbase is one of the cringiest and worst things ever possible, filled with they-them minors, I just kinda dipped. As games, perfection, but as a fanbase, disgustingly bad. Fourth one, the Persona games. I mean, what is there to say? After playing 5, my world was opened. I didn't really care much for turn-based besides Pokemon, but P5 and the entirety of Megaten opened my eyes. Honestly, Pokemon wishes it could be SMT. Oh yeah, and the fifth impact. Currently the largest and still ongoing is naturally the Yakuza games. Don't think they will ever get topped, honestly. Anyways, back to P5. So yeah, after playing it I went into P4, was even more hooked, then into P3, which was an amazing experience despite having more flaws than either 5 or 4. A few months later, I watched P1 playthrough and then played P2 Innocent Sin, which to me has the best story and very close to favorite casts. Afterwards, I took a short break and then by the end of 2020, I tried SMT3 as the first mainline game. Naturally, I got my ass kicked and thrown out. I got past the halfway point, stopped and only returned to it after finishing SMT4 the next year. But I am ahead of myself. After Nocturne was delayed, I played both Persona Q games, which were both good to great. Q suffered from very bad dungeons, and Q2 was actually pretty good. Afterwards, I tried SMT4, and I mean, the characters are iconic. The OST was better than most of P5's non-vocal themes, and in general, best Megaten OSTs so far, at the time being, you know, Persona and SMT3 and 4. 4 had a great peak. Then I finished SMT3 at the end of 2021. The overall was satisfied, but definitely felt a bit too overpraised.
I mean, it's alright, like...
2022 happened, P5S came out, it was great. I also played SMT5's base game, and it was really fucking great. And then I didn't touch SMT for a good year, and good year and a half actually. And then I played Soul Hackers 2, thought it was good enough with great moments.
I mean, it's alright, like...
And then just nothing. B3 Reload came out, was an amazing remake. Played DDS 1 and 2, were both very flawed, but great games. Played SMT4 Apocalypse recently, had a blast and thought I was missing out. And finally, we get to SMT5 Vengeance at around mid-July 2024 to 5th of August 2024. What a ride it was. Now we really dive in. SMT5 Vengeance is just another Atlus cash grab re-release, right? Well, yeah, but no. Listen, they do re-releases for a reason. They make money, sure, but good lord is the quality of the game compared to the base game night and day difference. In every example. 5 Vengeance fixes the non-existent and barely functioning story, gives us some more character writing. Well, at least in the canon of Vengeance. I don't know if they fixed creation story yet. Vengeance makes the gameplay somehow even more fun and makes it even more satisfying. Again, somehow. Includes innate skills and adds new unique skills.
Give it to me! Give it to me! Give it to me! Give it to me! Just give it!
As for world traversal, SMT5 Vengeance includes a godsend known as the Sky Map, where it gives you a bird's eye view of everything around you, which negates most, but not all, issues I had with the open level sections at times. Not to mention the Magatsui rails, which are also a godsend because they're literally just shortcuts across entire open levels. Demon haunts were also introduced in here, which were a small getaway to hang out with the demons, which is a nice option, but naturally I only ever really go there to min-max demons I like. At least that's how it was in my case. So now I'm gonna mention why I praise 5 so much. The turn-based combat. Like I said, I genuinely think that it's the pinnacle of turn-based combat, not just Megaten, but the entire JRPG genre. Though to be fair, I only saw tidbits of other games instead of actually playing them, so I'm really just comparing SMT, Persona, and Pokemon. And Fire Emblem, I guess. That being said though, the point still stands. Demon Fusion never gets old, the press turns are a godsend that makes Personas 1 more feel like, well, not that good comparatively. I mean, 1 mores are safer compared to press turns, I guess, but press turns feel way more satisfying with the way they're just give and takes. I will say, however, I played SMT4 Apocalypse prior to 5 Vengeance and noticed how search fusions just vanished. 4 Apocalypse had such a good search function that doesn't even make you need to use a guide for a fusion. Well, neither did 5V for the most part, but only the ones I missed. Oh, and the miracle system in 5 is, I think, overall great, but personally, I feel like they should have given you a basic plus 5 or 10 glory per level, so you don't have to go out of your way for glory capsules. Kind of like SMT4 gives you app points per level up, which are for the most part the well-placed capsules, but I don't know, there were times where I just needed a tad bit more glory but had no nearby capsules to farm or mitamas. Also, the fact they're locked to abscesses is one of the things that's mixed for me. I like abscesses, but I don't know, I feel like there should have been a fewer of them instead of looking for a specific upgrade and needing that specific abscess. Next up, I want to mention the Magatsui gauge mechanic. Personally, I like it, though for the most part I just keep it fully charged and never used it on anything besides bosses. Unless I get, you know, bodied by a random encounter, but then I use it, but yeah, besides that, bosses only. I mean, the skills can be insane, case in point, the unreliable critical, or in the new case, omnipotent succession, my beloved. Demon Negotiation in 5 was my personal favorite so far, but I will say I think Vengeance might have lowered the amount of unique interactions. I'm not sure, it felt like I saw quite a few same dialogue exchanges compared to base 5, where I saw so many different ones. I could be wrong, but it definitely felt like they lowered a good chunk of them. Also, the upgrade where demons talk to other demons was changed into Nahobino, just cutting in, which, again, didn't feel that great compared to 5. Lacked quite a few funny demon exchanges in my opinion. 5E's new dungeons or levels are also really pretty good actually. Shakan I wasn't that big of a fan of, and to be honest I think Demon King's Castle is better. It looked great aesthetically, but besides that, I genuinely didn't really like the old upside down stuff that much. And the new Shinjuku region was actually pretty good. Anyways, it's time to praise the OST, so buckle up. And those were just the highlights. Honestly, this OST is somehow even better than Base 5. No idea how they cooked so damn hard, it's really incredible. Now, I'm gonna mention some stuff out of order that I really want to talk about. The voice acting is pretty good actually. Base 5 was a little bit iffy at times, but in Canon of Vengeance it's way better. Especially like Kyoko Nuwa and Yakumo's VAs. The Nahobino's human form is still so dumb looking to me. I like holy hell, Batman. They, them is just so weird to see compared to every other SMT Pro tag. At least the Nahobino form carries, like both of them. The alignment system is unlike Base 5 where you just choose the ending at the end. I noticed I didn't even get a choice for who to side with at the end. It was auto-chosen based on alignment, which I think is great, but it's definitely a bit flawed since I don't know if there's any way to check the alignment. Usually it's the spinning overworld player icon that indicates it, but since I've been to the overworld way too little, I probably didn't notice. Next up, compared to base SMT5's run where I was a physical build, honestly, the game with the magic build this time around felt so much easier. I have noticed that recently the last 4 Megaten games I played, DDS1, DDS2, SMT4A, and 5V, I went magic builds compared to physical builds. And surprisingly, all of those games were much easier than the others. Could just be being used to the series, but it could also be that magic is really strong. Like, really strong. I liked it regardless though. There were a few difficulty spikes, but it wasn't that bad at all. No one took me more than 2 or 3 tries to beat. Hell, the Lucifer fight was so laughably easy and underwhelming that I would have preferred if Bastema was the final boss. My god, that was so disappointing. Cool form though, I guess. Visually at least. Now bear with me here, the performance of the game was so damn smooth it's insane. Who would have thunk that the Switch is dog water? 60 plus FPS, modding support, extremely smooth and looks very great with a great art style. I don't know, well, it seems to me like the Switch needs to die at this point. Imagine if they only released it for the Switch. Major fumble. Anyways, that's really all that I wanted to say. SMTV was a monumentally amazing game that honestly improved on SMT5 in every single way. It just made it a godsend. I might make a follow-up video if I do Canon of Creation in the next few months, which will probably happen, but it is not without flaws, but holy hell is it close to being without flaws. Like I said, personally it actually somehow managed to dethrone the RE4 remake as my favorite game this year. And not just that, honestly we'll do a Megaten tier list soon. Oh, and let me tell you, it is likely going to be the pinnacle. I think it beats out SMT4, Persona 5 Royal, and 3 Reload, but we will get to that. SMT5V is without a doubt the perfect JRPG and the best Atlus release this year so far. Keep in mind we got Metaphor coming up, and while I am very interested, I feel like SMT5V will be better. I hope I'm proven wrong though, Metaphor could be a godsend as well, we shall see. So, thanks for watching and see you next video. Play SMT5V.